Hi, and welcome to our second episode of the onmaths podcast. And today's episode is going to be probably quite a short one because I'm just going to go through all the questions that I've received either on YouTube or on Twitter. They've all come from. And I'm just going to go through where you can find the answers and try and give you the best explanation as I can. There were a few things that maybe I said not in the perfect way yesterday, so I want to clear up those as well. So let's get started. So the first question says, so just to be clear, all the topics that are covered per paper are the only ones going to come up in the exam. Not quite. So let's have a look at each of the exam boards and what they say about it. So OCR says that topics that are not explicitly given in the list may appear in low tariff items and via synoptic questions. Now, what that means is up to interpretation. I mean, what do the exam boards mean by low tariff? For me, I would think that actually the ones in the multiple choice sections, the ones that are, so for instance, rounding might not be there, but you might be asked to round an answer. Explicitly, it's not saying that you need to learn about significant figures, but clearly you'll need to know significant figures to be able to answer it. Low tariff items is a phrase used by a lot of subjects. I've got quite a lot of knowledge of the psychology course, and they use that. They say for the high tariff questions, we'll tell you what they're going to be, but for the low tariff, who knows? So it's similar. Seems to be similar for maths as well. AQA says for each paper, the list shows the major focus of questions. So again, it's saying that there will be other things on the exam, but we're just showing you the major focus. The following areas of content are suggested as key areas of focus for revision and final preparation in relation to the June 2022 exams. So again, it's saying, look, you will come out of that paper feeling like the list was accurate, but if you just learned from the list, from the advanced information, then you won't have enough knowledge. You will need to be doing other things. Edexcel finally says that the advanced information details the focus of the content of the exams in the assessments. The areas of content listed are suggested as key areas of focus for revision and final preparation. Now, to speak bluntly, it will not go down well if this advanced information only makes up half of the exam. And I think the exam boards know that. So the advanced information clearly is a significant contribution to your marks. I'd be surprised if it's not over 80% of the marks. But what they're saying also is, look, you've still got to learn the whole thing. We're doing you a favour here to focus your revision closer to the exam on these areas. You don't have to necessarily feel like you've got to revise the whole course, but you've also got to learn the whole course. Make sure you understand, say if I'm trying to think of a topic. Say if circles aren't on there, you've still got to know that pi r squared is the area of a circle, but we're not explicitly going to have a massive question on it. But it could be that knowing the area of a circle will help you with a different question that might not necessarily be focused on the circles, but knowing that formula or knowing how to use that formula, because you are given that formula in the paper, is going to be a massive help. So I would recommend you learn the whole course. What I don't want, what I would not like to hear is teachers are abandoning their curriculum and not teaching the last two topics because they're not in the advanced information. That's completely not going to be a good idea. But when it comes to the revision, you've got a list to focus your efforts on. So you've still got to learn everything, still gently, revise everything. But then when it comes to the crunch, when it's a week before the exam, then I personally would advise you to focus on that list. So if anything else comes up, you can get it. But I would heavily feel that if the majority of the marks on the papers aren't on this advanced information, then I think that there will be problems. Now, having said that, there have been surprises before that have hit the headlines from exam boards making strange decisions on questions and just strange decisions in general. So you've got the information there. I've read out the information for you. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see it on the screen there. So you've got to kind of make up your mind over what they say. There are training events coming up. I know OCR have one next week. So hopefully there'll be more information that trickles down of exactly what is meant by low tariff items. And as I said, maths is not the only subject that is trying to understand specifically what the exam boards mean by that. But I feel that the exam boards don't want to get themselves in a corner with it. Right, let's move on to the next question. So the first bit of the question, I think, is what I've just talked about. The second part, though, would there be an equation for only a few questions or all that we have formulas for? So it's basically a question on formulas. The part of the document I would sort of recommend reading is on the front of the formula sheet. And I think this is the Edexcel one. It just says, please note, a copy of the exam aid will be made available to all students on the day of the examination and as an insert in the question paper. So you will have this formula sheet. So the formula sheet doesn't mean that all the stuff on the formula sheet will come up. I've never ever seen a paper that has used the trigonometric area, sine rule, and the cosine rule. I've never seen a paper that has assessed all of those, but the formula sheet will be there. You can see it now. It will be, hopefully, if there aren't any changes, which I don't think there will be, because all the exam boards are consistent with the formula sheet. The formula sheet you see on our website, onmaths.com, that is the one that you will have in the exam, unless there's any mistakes, which there probably won't be. So it's not a case of some questions will have it, some questions won't. There are a few formulas that you are given next to the question. I think is it the volume of a cone? I think you're given next to a question. So if they ever ask you to work out the volume of a cone, you will be given it next to the question. So they can still give you formulas with relevant questions, just as before. So think of it as a normal exam, just like all the past papers, but now you're given all of the formulas, and that is a big help. Are you going to alter your predicted papers to reflect this advanced information? Yes, and that is something that we will be looking at doing ASAP. In fact, we're already started on it. The main thing we've got to do first is really understand what the topics are, and that sounds like it should be quite an easy job, but each of the exam boards calls things different things, and I think I said in episode 1 yesterday that one calls it, for instance, negative numbers, one might call it directed numbers, and they're the same thing, but just trying to figure out what we call it behind the scenes on maths when we construct these papers. And I might do a video, soon or in the future, going through the process of making these papers, because you will not believe the mathematics and just the complexity of what goes into it. But yeah, so we've got to first of all relate them to our topics. Then we've got to create the papers. And at the moment we have the 3 boards, 3 papers per board. So that's 9, and then we've got higher and foundation, so that's 18, and then we do the half papers as well, so you can triple that number, and that's how many papers we've got to write. The half papers aren't so bad because it's just all the odd questions and all the even questions, but it's going to take us a while. We might release the papers as we do them, or we might release them all in one go, but we shall see. And yeah, so if you just go to our website, eventually we will label them differently. So instead of May 2022, it'll be May 2022 brackets advanced information or something. So we'll make it clear that they're the ones to do. On that though, given question 1, please feel free to keep using the predictions that we've already released, because as we said for the first question, they could ask anything. Right, I think this is our last question. So it says, have there been changes to the website? Is it still free? So the website is completely different. This is something we've worked on for a long time. This has been, at least 2 years, 2 years intensive working, but it's been in the works for about 4 years now. And what we've basically done is rebranded the website, made it look modern. The old one looked a bit tired and a bit clunky. And so we've just made it a lot quicker, a lot easier to get to places. Everything that we offered free before is still free. In fact, there's a lot more stuff now than there was before we changed it. There is now a premium version called onmaths Ultimate, and that is just giving stuff we've never ever given away before. So it gives you the opportunities to not have adverts, which is quite a good thing for some people. It also gives you the opportunity to watch a video for each question, so you don't need to open up the prediction and try and find the question. It gives an ad-free video straight away from that question, and there's absolutely no adverts. It's not hosted by YouTube, so yeah. It also gives you full working out for questions. So any question you see, apart from the old marks, any question you see, you can get a full working out, so you can understand exactly where you went wrong, if you got the question wrong. And it also gives you a few other perks going forward as well. You can that's it. You can download the papers, so you can download PDFs of all the modern papers, all the topic papers, all the modern predictions. So starting from last year, all the predictions there, our demon questions, our mini mocks, anything you want, you can just download it as a PDF. But you can also download the working out as a PDF as well. So it does give you a lot of extras, but we've never offered the working out, we've never offered individual videos, we've never offered the downloads, we've never offered anything of that for free. So the premium stuff is only on the upgrades. And if you're a teacher watching this, it's exactly the same. We've made the back end look a lot nicer, a lot better now, where you can get to your students' data way quicker. But we are looking at the moment to increase the stuff we offer to teachers and have some premium extras. But there isn't an appetite at all to charge for the stuff we give away for free, because the team are very much wanting you to succeed. The website was created to support students who didn't have access to premium websites, which we all know what the premium ones were, but there were quite a few schools that just couldn't afford it or just didn't choose to do it. And so onmaths was there to kind of help support those. There were also organisations in the past making predictions, but only for schools that were part of the club. And so onmaths was all about democratizing it, just letting it out there for free, so that everyone could have an opportunity to use it. So that's enough about the history of onmaths. Please feel free to contact us. I am more than happy to do more of these videos in the future. You can contact us at Twitter at onmathsuk. You can also check out our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/c/onmaths, or if you just type in YouTube and onmaths, you'll get to it. We also have Facebook and Instagram as well, although Twitter is definitely the easiest or quickest way of getting your question to me, or on YouTube. Those are the ones that generally I read and the team read. Right, I hope that's been useful. As I said, please let us know if there's any more questions that you've got. But otherwise, thank you very much.